Get clear with your packages, your payment plans, your booking links, your customer journey, and create an onboarding process that works for both you and gives your client a VIP experience. Listen to today's episode to find out how you can get your client onboarding processes in place. Hello, you're listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. This podcast is for high-achieving, courageous women who want growth and the know-how to scale their business online. Running a business is a journey and a process. The more we learn in action, the more we succeed. If you're a woman in business, this is the podcast for you. Be in the 5% of businesses that make it. Let's get bold and create the life we desire. I'm bringing my passion to you through advice, coaching, inspiration, and support to help you create and design the life and business you want to live. I am a Dubsado expert, CPD certified in social media platforms, and a lover of admin systems and processes. I am an accredited ICF coach, specialising in trauma and narcissism. My own coaching journey has supported my growth immensely, and I want to share those highlights with you to inspire and give you courage. Let's get intentional with our goals and make them happen. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to the Courageous Goals podcast. Today I would like to talk to you about your client onboarding processes. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it literally is as simple as the title says. How do you onboard your clients within your business? So one of the very first things I ask my clients when they inquire about Dubsado is, do you have current onboarding processes in place for your clients? And a lot of clients look at me completely blank and wondering, what I'm talking about. And others say, yes, well, sort of. They might have it down on a piece of paper or they might have it in their head, but they don't have an official process in place where a system works for them. So when I hear these sorts of answers, I get very excited, I must say, because everybody knows I'm an admin geek. So I do get very excited and I'm like, yay, I can really get things knuckled down for them in a process, create things that work in a way that suits them as well as their ideal clients. And we can really get things organized more than you've ever had them organized before. Now, secretly, I know how it feels not to have a process in place because a while ago, I didn't have processes in place. Well, not fixed ones anyway. I had a process in place in my head. I knew what had to happen. I knew I had to send a contract and a questionnaire and initially an invoice and all these little things. Like I knew that what I had to do. But I didn't have an official fixed process in place. And of course, as you all know, these things really take a lot of admin time, sending contracts backwards and forwards and getting them signed or countersigned, and then sending questionnaires. But maybe perhaps you need to create all of these things first if you're right at the beginning of your business. Even if you're not and you're working with new clients, you need to fill in their details, like their name, their email, like all these things. And all of it takes time. But how would it feel to have your processes created in a way that makes things so much easier, that you don't have to spend all of this time on admin and you can lose the overwhelm of actually going from A to B, because we all want to have the initial calls with our clients to see if we're a good fit to work with them. And then ideally, we want to jump to the next stage where we just start work with them straight away because, that's what we're here for. That's what we're good at and that's what they need. But you have to have the bits in the middle in place. And so things like contracts, questionnaires, invoices, maybe even reminders, to pay an invoice, or reminders to complete a questionnaire, or even a reminder to sign a contract, because as we all know, life and business can be really busy and you're doing so many things that you forget to do things. So there's also lots of reminders that we forget, how much we spend time on. So having a system in place that can support you with these things and get these things done is so, so important. Now, Dubsado. Dubsado is a brilliant tool. There are many other systems that you can use. Just everybody knows that I'm a lover of Dubsado. I know how well it works for me in my business, and I know how well it works for other people in their business. I'm also part of the Dubsado community, and there are just so many benefits to working with Dubsado, and I love the fact that you can really brand it and create things to work for you, how you want to, come across in your business. And you can do that in other systems, in other software platforms. And it's just about finding the right one for you. But today I'm going to focus more on Dubsado because that's what I use. And as many of you know, I have a Dubsado course launching in February the 20th. It is launching now. It was going to be January, but I came down with COVID, so hands up, things have moved a few weeks, but it is still coming. It's still in place. It's just delayed slightly. Right, so back to your client or onboarding processes. So to be able to work these out, if you use Dubsado, leave that aside for now. All you need is a pen and paper, your notebook, whatever it is. You're just going to do the old-fashioned thing first and really work through all the nitty-gritty bits before you actually implement and do anything in Dubsado if you use it. So you need to initially work out all of the software that you currently use, and then work out, would a system actually be better for you? So if you're asking clients to sign contracts, you must be using a different kind of software. I know I used HelloSign and Signable at different times in my business. I also used questionnaires, so Google Forms for me. Booking calls was done through Calendly. Invoicing, perhaps I might have created PDFs, or I might have created these in my accounting software, Xero. I also had reminders on my project management tool. So now I use Asana. I used to use Trello. What emailing software do you use? So if you use Google or Microsoft, what's your availability like? Do you know what that is? Do you know what days you like to work on certain things? So are you using a digital calendar? There's lots of different software that you might already use now, and potentially Dubsado could replace some of these. So for me, I know Dubsado replaced HelloSign and Signable. It replaced Google Forms. It replaced Calendly. I don't use PDFs for my invoicing anymore, or even Xero for that matter. I still use Xero because that's for my accounts side of things, but my invoices are created automatically in Dubsado, which sync to Xero, which is absolutely brilliant. And also within Dubsado, I have reminders set up. So although that I still use Asana, I use Asana more for my business side of things and tracking other things, whereas my reminders for clients are all done through Dubsado. So as you can tell, there's lots of software that we use within our business. So your client onboarding process, what do they look like currently? So you might be trying to work out or even know what services you offer. What do you currently do? So on a one-to-one basis, do you work with clients? Do you work with clients in a small program? So maybe up to 10 people or so at a time? Or even do you have a program that you offer clients where they can work themselves individually? And it might be like a 6-week program or something like that. So Dubsado can really work for you in that way. You also might want to think about any launches that you have coming up. So if you don't offer a program or a course at the moment, think about those as well. Now, your client leads. How do clients currently find you? Are you tracking this for your marketing purposes? Because it's so important to really notice where people find you. So if it's referrals in person, then you need to do more networking. Do clients find you on social media? And if so, what platform is that? So again, you need to spend more time on that platform. And how do clients book a call with you? Do they know how to do it? Do you have set availability for those discovery or clarity calls? Do you turn clients away if they don't fit a certain criteria? Do they need to apply to book a call with you, or can anyone just book a call with you on a certain link? So the leads are the initial stages of where they haven't turned into a client yet, but they could be a potential, they could be a client. So how do you currently track these? And that's something to really work out in the best way for you. In Dubsado, there is a brilliant way to monitor this and use statuses in the project section. And then you need to work out onboarding. So how you onboard your clients. Before you start work together, do you send a package or a proposal? Do you send a contract, a welcome pack, an invoice? How do you take payments? Is there anything else that you do before you would like to start working together? And then there's obviously the active part of when they're a client. So do you require a booking link or any sessions? Do you send any mid-project questionnaires? Are there any resources you send and appointment reminders? There are so many things to really look at when you're working with your clients. And as I said, all of these things can really be put into place when you use a system that works for you in your business. And Dubsado is brilliant for coaches, absolutely brilliant. And that's why I use it. Again, so that was onboarding, that was active clients, and now offboarding, exactly the same. When you offboard your clients, what happens? What do you do? Now, I cringe when I think of this stage because at the beginning of my business, I did not have an offboarding process. I didn't really do anything. When I stopped working with clients, it was just, okay, thanks very much. It's been great working with you. If you need anything again in the future, let me know. And that was kind of it. And, done. I didn't do anything. And even with my client folders, they just they stayed there. They got left in my drive, didn't really do anything. And that was that. And it still now makes me cringe. Like I can really feel it in my body right now. But now I have a process in place where I thank them for their business. I ask them for feedback and I ask if they're happy for me to share their feedback. And then potentially, depending on what it is I've worked with that client on, I might ask for them, I might check in with them at some point in the future. So I actually have a process in place now. And then when those things are done, I then archive the project on Dubsado. So the project is still there. It's attached to the client in the utilities area of Dubsado, but it's now removed from my current active projects because it's been archived. And having those processes in place was absolutely brilliant for me to get that there because, like I said, it makes me cringe to think, what I didn't do, and I didn't ask for feedback and I didn't do all these things. So all the feedback or testimonials or, possibly extra work I could have got from clients in those early stages, it's just like, oh, why didn't I do that? However, we live and learn, don't we? Especially in business. We don't know everything right from the start. And now I'm at a stage where I've learnt all of these things. I've been able to get everything in a process, in place. automated as well, and it has been working really well for me for the last, year, 18 months roughly. And I want to be able to support you guys to do the same thing. So I created a PDF. Some of you have already downloaded it, which is brilliant. For those of you that haven't, it is available on my website, and I'll drop the link in the show notes, but it's called Your Client Onboarding Processes. And it will kind of ask you the questions that I've talked about today so that you can really work out your processes. And then eventually you can create a map of what your processes look like, at each stage. So whether it's a lead, whether they're onboarding, whether they're active, or, you're archiving these clients, whatever it is, there's a stage for everything, and there's a process for every stage. And really getting down and ironing those details out will make life and business so much easier, so that you can really focus on what you love doing. So if you'd like to download the free resource, then please go ahead. It's a PDF format. There's enough space to write notes and map your processes. And it's a guide really, and there's also a little bit of information about Dubsado and how Dubsado can really help you, and the benefits of it, because you can have all of these things in place. You can have clear packages, payment plans, booking links for all types of things. You'll have a clear customer journey. And recently I've taken on a couple of new clients, and I have actually had direct feedback from them saying, Leanne, I love your onboarding process. And those two people that actually said it, I know they've been in business for a while for them to actually use those words, like the onboarding process. So I thought, oh, thank you. Someone's noticing. It's brilliant. And when I've spoken to people before, it's just like a general comment that they'll say, but these people actually went out of their way to message or email me and say how brilliant it looks, and that just meant the world to me. So yes, Dubsado can be absolutely brilliant for you. You don't have to use Dubsado, but definitely get your client onboarding processes in place from start to finish, and it really will make life so much easier. And then once you've got those processes in place, you've got them all mapped out on paper, on a notebook, you can then start to look at a system that works for you, and really dive in and save yourself so much admin time. Anyway, so I hope this episode has been useful for you. Please do go ahead and download the PDF, because I'm hoping it will be really useful for you to start getting things out on paper. It will make you think what you have or haven't got in place, and it might trigger something completely different, thinking, oh, actually, there's something else I could get in place with a process that will really save you more admin time. So I look forward to talking to you soon, and have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode and taken something of value for you. If you'd love more advice, coaching, inspiration and support, head on over to join many other courageous women in business in our free community group over on Facebook. We'd love to welcome you. You can also find free useful resources over on the website at leannebrown.com/resources. Right, that's all for this week. I look forward to sharing another episode with you next week.